everyone, it's Linda. I have a surprise. I'm releasing my part 2 of the Down to Earth series. This one's called Creating Sacred Space. It was originally released over on Patreon on April 10th, but it has some really good information that might help you guys when navigating these incredibly high, intense energies. So it helps you stay focused and balanced when you create sacred space within and without. And so teaching you through this video. I give you some examples of some of the tools you can use and how, if you don't have a lot of space, that you can create a wonderful sacred area, sacred space that you can use your mindfulness with, and it'll teach you how to tap into those energies by creating it on the outside, bringing the energies in to your heart. I also teach you how to drop your attention from your heart, your head down into your heart, so that you can then pull that vibration in to your heart and take this treasure that you create with you wherever you go. And then you can call upon it at will and project it out from your heart space, your heart portal, whenever you feel the need to balance and recenter yourself and bring yourself back into alignment. So I hope this finds you well. I hope you find some treasures that you create yourself and you get something out of it. And I'm really, really excited to release this to you guys. So here goes. Hi, it's Linda Light, and this is part 2 of Down to Earth. In this video, we're going to be talking all about creating sacred space. As within, so without. We'll cover topics about creating sacred space on the inside as well as the outside and why that's important. We'll cover things like the temple that you create on the outside and how to go about doing it, the tools that you may need, the things you already have, and how to overlay that and bring that into your whole multidimensional being, and how that actually helps you in the connection with your higher self and soul levels. So let's get started. In this section, we're going to talk about creating sacred space on the outside and the tools that you can use. I will show you examples of my space. I have some behind me over here that I will show you in just a minute. But first, I just wanted to go over a few important things. You don't need a lot of tools. You don't need a lot of space. What you need is the desire to want to connect on the inside. Now, if you already have a daily meditation practice or you have a sacred space already, that's wonderful. And you can share this video with somebody that you know who might be working on that, or you can just watch and see if there's anything else that maybe I can help you with, making that multidimensional connection from the outside to the inside, because that's where a lot of people fall short and they're asking for assistance. So creating sacred space on the outside a lot of times comes with rituals. And rituals can be anything that you create, or they can be from times of the past. There are some certain boundaries and things that you may already know, like calling in your highest self and asking for protection from your light team, your beings that are assisting you, your guides, your protectors, whatever you're comfortable with and whatever your belief systems are. This works across the board. So reconnecting with your highest source from within, from your heart center, asking to protect your space and to protect your work is of the utmost importance when you get started, because you don't want any interference. Anything that's important to you that helps you to feel sacred. So let's say you're working with a small area in your bedroom, maybe across your bureau, or perhaps your desk can double as your sacred space depending on the amount of space you have. You may have an entire room dedicated to your sanctuary, and wonderful for you, but a lot of us don't have that luxury. So when you're working with small space, I've even helped people come up with the idea to bring a traveling plate. I'll show you in a minute what I have right back here. It might just be an old-fashioned makeup thing that sits on your bureau, or it could be a food serving tray that's just flat. It's something that you can use, it's portable. So it doesn't have to be fancy or made out of fancy tools. It's your intention that ultimately matters. So if you're starting from that right place and you have that intention, doesn't matter if it's a plastic tray or not. You could even use a plate. It's really fine. So don't worry about it. That's going to be the nature of this beast here. It's not even a beast. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So if you have, I like to collect all the elements or try to use something that represents the elements to me. So creating that space gives a sense of peace, of protection, of sanctuary, and of sacredness. And that's key to getting your physical body in that state when you're first starting out and you're going into your discipline of doing this daily. You're making a dedication to your highest self and your soul level. You're signaling, I'm going to do this every morning, or I'm going to do this every night before I go to bed. And you set your time, you set your intention, and you follow through. And you also forgive yourself if you miss a day or you're not at the right time, and that's okay. Remember, it's your intention. So I like to use the elements and, fire, earth, water, and air. And you can use a plant. I have bamboo. I'll talk about this in the next section, but I use the elements of fire with the candles and earth with salt, or a plant with when it has soil, things like that. I even have copper for metals and everything. If you use the 5-element system, that's fine. Whatever you use that represents you, that gives you that sense of complete wholeness. I have a divine masculine, divine feminine, that I have those representations so that they can be combined into the whole, the yin yang coming together. And that's also important. I have grids, sacred geometry, things that I use to clear. You may just have something as simple as a little crystal. It doesn't have to be big, but you align it with your cleared, intentional self. And it's good if you go into a state of meditation, just take a couple breaths. If you don't have a lot of time, a couple breaths, bring that white light in, bring that earth air up, let them combine in your heart, blow it out through yourself like the sun is in your heart, blow it out from all angles of yourself. Clear your physical body space, clear your energetic space around you, and then go and place your grid on your plate, on your altar, in your room. Design it with your natural instinctual feng shui instincts, because we all have them. You know when something just feels off, and you know when something feels good, and it helps you have that state of expansion. You just feel good. So learning how to identify these feelings and get that clairsentience working, and not that it's not working, it's working, but learning how to identify and communicate in that language so that you can translate that into a verbal language to help other people who are just learning too. There's a lot of things that can happen with creating sacred space. So that's why it's important to create that in the physical realm. In this section, we're going to cover creating your sacred space in the physical. I'm just going to show you a few of my favorite tools that I like to use. Now, I don't always get this elaborate with my setup. In fact, I use this tray here as more of a traveling altar, if you will. So I have a copper grid, and I usually start out with that first, and I will place a pyramid here, which I have for charging things. So I have all kinds of little gems, little gemstones, and jewelry and crystals and different types of stones. For this is malachite here, but anything that you may feel needs to be charged, I like to keep them in here. It just helps cleanse them. I use incense, which I'm burning right now, and this is on more of, has Egyptian glyphs on it. So I like to bring in the energy of Isis, and her archetype has merged in with my soul level. So I do resonate with that very well. I have a bowl that I use for saging and other types of smudging sticks in here. So I use those frequently, or when I'm guided to. I have crystals And I'm using them right now in a grid form, so the crystals are going in a clockwise motion. So I connect things with, I use bamboo, because bamboo is for fortune and luck, and it's also earth element here. And of course I have fire for candles. This is a healing candle. This I love to use, the purple candle for the violet flame of transmutation. I also have an empty bowl that I use. There's water in the bamboo in here, so I have that element as well. And with the smoke, you have the air. But I like to use an empty bowl because for me, it's receiving. It's emptying my ego personality. For me, this always symbolizes emptying myself so that I can be filled with spirit, with energy, whatever my soul wants to pour in. And I always keep that handy here. I have a few other things like a salt lamp, salt of the earth. I love the Himalayan salts. And let me show you this. You're going to love this. We'll put this one here for now. This is the Flower of Life template. And in sacred geometry, they say that this is the template for all other sacred geometries. For all of creation can be found in here. All those sacred geometries can be found. So the more you look at it, the more you can see the template for everything. So this is a wonderful bowl, and it's copper. And then I like to use that as a charging plate for things to clear. And I keep my stones. I have various stones in different bags for different reasons. I also use Ganesh, and I have the Divine Mother. So Divine Masculine, Divine Mother, Tibetan bowl. I love my Tibetan singing bowls. I do sound healing work. So maybe I'll do a little thing for you later. So also, if you really want to keep it simple, I like to have selenite and everything. I have one of those in the back. I've got a lot of selenite, but this one's wonderful. This is good for bordering a grid, and different stones for different reasons with crystal points on the ends. They don't have to be big, but it keeps the energy flow going in the direction that it needs to go, and keeps everything going in a circle. Some people like to do squares for grids, and that's fine too. You can do whatever you want. But if you don't have a lot of items, you don't have to go out and buy them. This was gifted to me on my birthday a few years ago from some of my spiritual buddies, and it's just a fishbowl. And there's selenite chunks in here. Selenite's very inexpensive, but the chips are in there, and you can lay down. I put a tea light in here oftentimes, especially when I'm doing readings for people. For any of my clients that are watching this, you've seen this bowl before, and the tea light goes in there, and I select the stones for whatever the person that I'm working with, what I feel guided to in the beginning when I'm preparing for a session. So that's wonderful. And then what I wanted to show you too is this. These are iolite stones, and it's a really wonderful tool. It's a bowl, and I love this bowl. And you can it's cool. The violet flame of transmutation is instilled and working all through, along with the iolite and all their properties. But I like to put different stones in there at different times depending on what I'm working for. So, for example, there's just some of the stones I carry in that particular pouch, but I will place the stones within and around rose quartz. And this, I love this piece. This is a nice crystal here. It just packs such a punch. And it does, like I said, it doesn't have to be big. Sometimes you can find the smallest little piece of something that's absolutely wonderful. If the energy calls to you and you're listening, you'll know. But whoops, sorry about that. Sometimes a little piece just like this. See, he might not want to go in. I had a piece of jewelry I made out of stones like this before. Rondrite, excellent for healing. If you have a bruise, and if you have a bruise somewhere and you strap the rondrite to that, it'll be gone the next day. wonderful stone. You need little tiny pieces. So you can make little grids within other things that you have, and it can serve its purpose for whatever you're doing. So this is just a quick example of some larger tools that I use at different times for different reasons. But like I said, you can have something much, much smaller, and you may just have a little tray such as this. You may not have the copper plates or all these tools, but they're around. They're very easy to get. You may just have some sage that you want to use. You may need some quartz crystal. You may have two little representations of divine masculine, divine feminine for yourself. You can place a candle, any kind of plate that you have. You must have needed that vibration. You may want to place a candle in the middle. This is for healing. It also has sacred geometry on it for the heart chakra. And then if you'll notice, it's a green candle for the emerald flame of healing, the emerald ray, emerald flame. Listen to me. Well, you can look at it as a flame if you want, but so here is a great example. You may not have a lot of tools or stones or whatever, but you can arrange them in any way that you want. You may find, you may have just a handful of stones, and that's okay. When you place them thoughtfully in your own grid, you're using your multi-dimensional self to connect and to create your own grid work for a sacred space. So once you have a sacred space in your room, say you don't have a lot of room and you just have one little thing, and I'm going to talk to somebody here who absolutely, I'm just feeling that there's people there that might have a very small apartment. Maybe you have children or you don't have anywhere and you think, I have nowhere I can do this. Well, you can go to any home goods store, any store somewhere, pick up some kind of small tray, take it in the bathroom with you. And wherever you take this is your traveling altar, your traveling sacred temple space, that when you set it up, you are connecting with that. And eventually what's going to happen, I'm going to talk about in the next section, how you're going to be able to take this with you. And you'll see that once you create this space, there's a vibration that goes with it. There's a certain vibration that oscillates energetically in the air that you're creating with this grid. If you can't see it physically, you will feel it when you spend time with it. And you can label that, name it, put it in your heart, and call upon it at will. Within one breath, within two breaths, eventually it becomes a thought. So I would not need to take this with me when I go somewhere. If I start to feel my energy being drained, I call upon this with my thought intention, and I bring this energy to myself through my heart portal. So you can do that too, but you start with creating space on the outside, and they say as within, so without. So sometimes we need to start on the outside with creating what we want to reflect on the inside. So we start with a sacred space on the outside and the discipline of reconnecting. Once we're reconnected, we can pull that energy in the inside, and then wherever we go, we can take that on the outside. So it really should be as without, so within, so without, or something like that. I'm not going to change the saying, but as within, so without works just fine. So you get the idea. I hope this helps, and I hope that you have a chance to create a beautiful sacred space of your own. And we'll cover that in the next section about how you actually go and do it. Now that I showed you some of the tools that I use and given you some advice on how you can create a traveling altar, traveling sacred space, what I would like to talk about is how you create the inner space and how you can connect with the energies from your sacred grids and sacred places and sacred spaces, even if they're not physically in your presence. Creating sacred space on the inside. As you learn how to go into meditation, and if you've already been doing it a long time, Wonderful. You already know where your happy place is, where your inner sacred space is. But let's try to make those connections now. For those of you that don't have a sacred place, that have trouble getting into their heart, that don't quite understand what going into your heart means, for those people that say that they close their eyes and they can't see anything. Well, your third eye must not be working, right? No. You're online already. You already are online. You just forgot. So in remembering that, when you close your eyes, if I say green bamboo or beautiful tree and your eyes are closed, you can see a tree. You visualize that. That visualization, you may say, is just your imagination, but therein lies the problem. It's not just anything. Your imagination is a key, and that key is going to get you connected to your inner portal that's in your heart. It's going to get you connected to that inner portal that's going to take your connection up to your higher selves, to your beautiful soul level, your I am presence, oversoul, and all the way up to creator source, your upline stream of consciousness, your upline stream of multi-dimensional higher consciousness. Imagination is your key to getting there. And we've been conditioned to believe that it's just your imagination, which is false. And I'm here to tell you right now, get rid of that. Just even if you have a hard time with that and you want to think this is woo-woo, you can think what you want. You're entitled to your opinion, but I am just asking you right now to please suspend your disbeliefs for just a few minutes. When you start to remember what your happy place is, what it looks like. If you close your eyes and you dream of a fantasy place that has your beautiful garden, or it has the mountains or rivers or the beach area that you like to go to, or a flat space in the grass where the trees and animals are around, or the plants, whatever your happy place is. And I'm going to call it your happy place over and over again until you get it. You're going to start remembering. That inner child is going to say, I remember a happy place. So you are going to remember your happy place, and then you're going to expand it. Go into a meditation, set a date with yourself, because this is important. This practice is very important. If you've created sacred space on the outside, go into a meditation, close your eyes, and imagine your happy place in all of its glory. Make it real. Expand the colors. Look around. See what it looks like. Come right back to yourself now. Open your eyes, whatever you do. When you imagine that you're up in your head and you're visualizing these things, what you're going to do next is you're going to close your eyes. When you have that visual of what your happy place looks like, you're going to drop from your head down into your chest, down into your heart space. You're going to overlay that happy place. You're going to expand it, and you're going to drop your visual. Close your eyes, visualize your happy place, but visualize that you're looking at it from out of your chest. Just, this is where your imagination comes in key. It's not imagining the place. It's dropping your consciousness and your attention down into your heart, using your imagination to get there, and visualize yourself looking out as if you're looking out through a cave or a doorway or an archway, something that you can walk through. See your happy place on the other side of that. See your happy place as if you're looking out from here, looking out to it. And that is going to be the key to the door where you walk through the portal of your heart. It might seem like imagination at first, but trust me, when you start doing that, and then you start realizing you forgot all about your body in the meditation, your body kind of stays behind and you're traveling within the portal of your heart, you'll start learning that you can traverse a multi-dimensional universe that way. You can connect to your higher self that way. You can connect to your guides that way. You can actually connect with other people's higher selves through your heart portal. And the more you practice at this, the easier it becomes. But what's going to happen is that's a practice in and of itself. So that's creating your inner space, going in there, seeing through the cave door, walking through there, seeing the reality of it, it will become real with practice. I promise. And the next thing that'll start to happen is you'll start getting your reconnection going on if you're not reconnected already. But what you want to do is create that sacred space on the outside and then get into that heart space within your sacred space, around you, in front of you, within your energetic field and boundary. And you want to feel that vibration and bring it in through your heart space. So you actually want to visualize and see the physical sacred space that you created. You want to see that space in your happy place right in front of you. Overlay it. And then when you bring that vibration is brought into your heart space, into your happy place, because you brought that energy there. You want to bring that back in through your heart, and you can take that wherever you go. So if you go somewhere and you start to feel drained or depleted, or people are draining your energy for whatever reason, or you need to feel sacred again because perhaps you're getting triggered by a group of people that are operating at a lower frequency and they're just bombarding you and your energy's getting drained. If you need to bring your protection back up, they're not going to steal it from you. They can try, but you can self-empower and you can bring that with you. And that's a great example of when to do it. But there's other examples of when to do it, is if you want to send healing for somebody, or you want to bless somebody, or you want to talk to their higher selves, or work on forgiveness within yourself, or you get triggered and you want to work on something with your own higher self. For manifestation, there's so many things that you can use your heart portal with and your sacred space. So let's say you're back somewhere and they're draining your energy. With a thought, you don't even have to close your eyes, but with one thought, you can drop your attention down into your heart center. You can see with your inner vision your field that you created in your sacred space that has the vibration of your altar and your sacred space. And with that, you can project that out and expand that into your physical body wherever you are, across space continuum, anywhere across time and space. So there is a magic to that seems unreal, but it's very, very real indeed. This is multi-dimensional living. This is how we do things. And wherever you are across time and space, you can be working on multiple things at once. When you open up that heart portal, it's not just your heart center, it's a portal. And you can bring energies with you wherever you go, expanding them out with your physical body, blessing people where you go, blessing the planet, blessing the galaxy, blessing the universe, blessing the multiverse. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. You are a multi-dimensional being that has these capabilities. You've been told to look in your heart. Your heart has a secret door and a secret place that's just for you. Just because it's secret doesn't mean that you can't find it. It's like hide and seek. Everybody's hiding in a secret place and you find them. Well, you're actually looking for yourself, and you've been told where to look. It's in your heart. It's a portal. It's a doorway. And it's magical. So I hope these tools help. I hope you got some information that you can use here. And I'm proud to have brought this information forth from my higher selves and my soul level to you as my gift about creating sacred space. It's been wonderful talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time creating your space. As within, so without. As above, so below. Namaste.